problem is that a water dispenser isn't dispensing. If you press you can hear it making a little bit of noise. That's a solenoid is activating, but no water is coming out. And we've been having this problem on and off. It always seems to be worse in the winter time. So this is Central Texas. This hasn't happened here in many, many, many years. So it's snowing like crazy. House is warm. It's in the 60s inside the house. So here we're gonna go back to the fridge. And it's been occurring on and off for the last few years since we got this refrigerator. And we finally figured out what may be going on with it. We're able to get it working last night, but again this morning, it's not working. So the way this refrigerator is designed, it has the water filter in the center of the refrigerator. Right through there is the water filter, and behind that is where the pump mechanism is. And we don't have to take the refrigerator apart, take drawers out, do a whole lot in order to get to that.
There's no pump.
Okay, so as my son says, there's actually a valve, not a pump. It relies on the pressure coming in from the to the house in the water in order to get water to this dispenser. The flaw in the system is that the water, it leaves the back of the refrigerator, and we'll show that here in a second, and then goes up to the top of the refrigerator, and then through the top, over the ice maker, and then down the door. And a lot of people have tried reporting that their refrigerators are fixed by unfreezing the blockage in the door. And there's different devices with syringes and things on Amazon and elsewhere that people buy that are designed to send warm water up to melt the blockage. Well, we've noticed that in this particular refrigerator, we'll show this in a second, there is a check valve that the thing doesn't get into. So right now we're going to go ahead and you can see whether there's a blockage by running in some trimmer line. And you can see where it goes and whether there's a blockage or not. And we're sending in quite a bit of trimmer line, but it reaches a point where it basically won't go any further. And we shot warm water up there and all that, but it didn't really resolve our problem with this French door refrigerator. Again, the French door refrigerator has a refrigerated space behind the door, not a frozen space. So it really shouldn't freeze the door. We'll show you what it's like in a moment once we pull the refrigerator out. So here's the back of the refrigerator, and you have the water going into the refrigerator right here. Okay, and this is going in from the water coming into the house. And then there's two lines coming out. There's a gray line and a blue line. And these lines are up on the back of the refrigerator and the back, and then they go into the top right over here. Okay, and it's those lines where this blue line is the one that goes into the top of the refrigerator above the ice maker and then across the back. That's the one we're concerned about. This one here goes into the ice maker, and it goes directly into the ice maker. This gray cable only goes back a few inches into that ice maker. So we're going to go ahead and get to this line and remove it, and we're probably going to find a way to bypass it because we keep on having this problem over and over again. But for you, if you're having just a blockage as your first time, we'll show you how to take care of that. Okay, the first step here is to take off this top cover. And there's a couple of screws that are here that we're going to go ahead and remove.
I believe.
Okay, and there's 3 screws.
And then clips.
And the clips are where these arrows are. And we're going to be carefully, we're going to flip this up and over. And helps to open the door a little. Okay, and you watch out because there's electrical things inside the... Okay, and this is one thing we're going to be, I'm going to call it out right now, is that when you have this particular piece off the refrigerator, the refrigerator now thinks the door is open because there's magnets in that piece that are no longer actuating the switches.
The magnets are actually right here and right here, and then the switches are in there.
So the switches are here that sense that and they're no longer picking up the magnets that are over here. So right now it thinks that the door is open, and in a little bit our refrigerator is going to warn us, hey, the door is open, the door is open, the door is open. And that's going to basically be significant later on, because whenever the door is open, the water's not supposed to work. So we're going to have to keep that in mind here. And the next thing we have here is this is where that blue hose is coming in here. So it's coming in, again, it runs across the refrigerator and then in, like so, inside the refrigerator. So, and it goes right over the ice maker. And the freeze is inside, somewhere in this section here, between where it comes out and then where it goes in. And that's what we're going to have to get to, and we're going to go ahead and show that process next. Okay, inside this, and this has been moved since we already did this, but there's a bag, and the bag comes with a little tool, that little red thing, and we're going to use that tool to help disconnect the blue hose from where it goes into the door.
So first you got to remove this cover. On some units it's red, and on some it's blue.
Okay, so slide that cover down.
And then you just get the tool out of the bag. And you could use a screwdriver or even your fingernails for this, but it's just easier if you have the correct thing. And it's that simple. Now if we activate this, nothing will happen because it'll think the doors are open.
Mm-hmm.
But if we spoof it with some magnets, which I'll go grab, these flashlights are very useful. I'll put one there.
So right now he's putting the flashlights where the magnets are.
And if you open the door, the lights should... Okay, we didn't get them in the right spot.
You can see there, you open the door open. Now the lights are off, so it thinks the door is closed. And see, and there's no water coming out of that tube, which tells us the blockage is not inside the door at all. The blockage is somewhere else. Okay, so right now we have a sort of a little plastic squeeze bottle with water in it, and what we're doing is putting into that tube to confirm that that part of the pipe is not blocked. So we're sending water through, so that's good. We know that's good. We know the blockage has to be somewhere up further into the refrigerator. Again, in that tunnel that the blue tube runs through across the top of the refrigerator. To be safe, we're going ahead and shut off the water, although you really don't need to here. And we're not dealing with anything electric for this, so we're not unplugging the electric. But if you're more comfortable, go ahead and do so. So here on the back of the refrigerator, there are several clips that can be unscrewed that hold the cables in place.
Hoses.
Or hold the hoses in place. And we're removing those now. Okay.
So this is the hose that is the problem.
Okay, so we're going to pull that out.
Now,
And one thing you'll notice here.
This has ice in it, right here. So here's a little piece of vinyl tubing that I filled with water and froze. Sounds like this. It's very cold. This is like right in the back few inches of the hose.
It has
Ice.
ice in it. Oh, and one thing to note is that there is a black mark here. That's about where it goes in, how far you're supposed to stick it in. So if you wanted to just do this as a one-time fix, and you just thaw this out here, this part right where my fingers are, and you could put it back in, but the problem keeps coming back. We're going to do a modification which could void your warranty if you have a warranty. But if you don't have a warranty, then, well, you probably don't have to worry about it. We're going to go ahead and just bypass sending this hose across the top of the ice maker. The only thing it might do is it might not give us quite as cold water. So we're going to go ahead and run this across the top instead. And we're hoping the hose is long enough. We may have to kind of cut the corner a little bit here and bypass it so it doesn't clip in. Okay, so we're going to go up to here and we're going to clip that in and give us more space.
Because this one clip is the one we're going to be using for this.
And try, at this point, we're going to go ahead and try figuring out where we need to have this lined up. So what I'm looking here is that this is the channel that the hose would normally come out of. Again, we're bypassing this. I'm going to go ahead and place this just right above it, and we're going to drill a hole, a small hole right about there. And I went ahead and marked that. We're going to take this off and go to a drill, and we're going to drill a hole big enough to send that hose through there. That way we'll connect it up on the other side. Okay, so at this point we're going to go ahead and remove this, and there's some kind of connector here where you could just pull it like so with a little clip, and that's removed. And we're going to take this out to where we have a drill. Okay, so we went ahead and brought this out to the garage. We're going to drill, and we basically lined this up to where the channel was that the hose came out of. We're going to drill a hole here,
Quarter-inch diameter.
Quarter-inch diameter, and we also for this we're also going to plan. We also move the electrical wiring out to avoid it getting damaged.
And we're actually going to cut a notch.
That situation where the thing pokes through. Yeah, and we're also going to go ahead and use a Dremel to cut a notch in.
That should work.
Like so. Okay, so we're back inside the kitchen now. And we, again, this blue hose is going to need to connect like so to there.
And there's this cover. Again, ours is red. Some of them have been seen as blue. And let's put the tool back in its bag.
Yep.
And then tape the bag in there.
Okay, and we also need to set this wire back where its guides there.
Okay.
And hook that back up. Okay. And again, what we're doing is to eliminate the blue hose from freezing inside the refrigerator, we're basically bypassing having it go above the ice machine and just running it across the top of the refrigerator. And okay, we got that put in.
Wait, screws.
Yeah. Okay.
There. That's it.
Okay, and we got these screws that are going to be in here.
Okay.
And we got that screwed back together again. And we also turned off the water.
Oh.
So we need to make sure we turn the water back on. We were just testing it and it didn't work. And so there's lots of things that can go wrong. So we're going to go ahead and turn the water back on. And it's kind of an art to figure out how much to turn the water on. If it's turned on too little, the water comes out too slow. Turn it on too much, the water comes out too fast and it can splash over the ice all over the place. So you're going to probably want to have it kept out. Also, it's a good idea whenever you're working with the water and with things like this, you check things after a while to make sure that there's not a leak. Because sometimes moving these hoses or touching the faucets can cause them to leak, and you want to make sure you check for that. So just give it some time. Okay, and again,
let's put back the
as of
one
right
clip
now,
that will work.
is we bypass the going through the refrigerator, and we're going up at the top, and we're probably going to at some point tape it down. There's also and this thing here is not an antenna. That's actually a thing that the power cord was wrapped around with. So we're going to actually use that to kind of hold that wire, keep calling it a wire, the hose in place. Now, depending on your kitchen and setup, this hose might be visible. If so, you might be able to just tape it down. We're not too worried about it here, as there's not anywhere in the house overlooking this particular area. And you can see, there we go. And if you look here, we're now getting water out of the refrigerator. And that's all there is to it. And we don't ever expect this to freeze up again in the same place that it did. We hope you enjoyed this video. If so, if this solved your problem, please subscribe,
comment,
and like. Thank you.